Hello friends, this is Jasu Bakuhatsu, and welcome back to my little live Let's Play session of, Let's Play Undertale, full Pacifist run. Looks like it's been about 2 hours on the game clock so far. So much for my whole notion of getting through the game in 2.5 hours, which is about what I took on my off-camera playthrough. Oh well. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna go get right back into it and hopefully power through to the end of the game this time around. And wait a second, I could have sworn I was... Oh, you know what? That's right, we did the date. I remember what's going on here. We did the date with Undyne. Oh, and actually, that reminds me. There's one other thing. Well, we'll start things off with a bang on this recording session, because I did not get to show this off. I don't think I showed this off on my first playthrough of the game, so of course we'll get a ride across, take this little shortcut here. Not that we need it. I don't know what. Honestly, it's not that funny of a moment in game. I think what really makes it is, and of course now I'm gonna have to go back because that's not actually a shortcut to where we want to go to. But I think what really makes this is the name of the song that plays during this little interlude here, which is, I think the name of this track on the OST is "Bird That Carries You Across a Disproportionately Small Gap," or something along those lines, which is kind of a better joke in itself than what you actually get here. It's just kind of a, I don't know, little epic moment. A tiny epic moment. And actually, there's that. It's like the top left corner of this little puddle here is like slightly discolored. Okay, I was afraid for a moment that I didn't have my microphone on. I thought maybe that might have... Okay. It's good. We're all fine. Everything's fine here. We don't have to start anything over. And, right, so yeah, we were in, I forget the name of the place. I guess he's going to tell me in a moment. And take us to Hotland. Well, that's where we're going. And yeah, that's where the next part of the game... I remember I said in my previous play session that the waterfall was my least favorite area in the game. I think I misspoke there, or I don't know what to call it. Basically, I was wrong. Now that I'm thinking more on it, I think that... Hotland here coming up is actually my least favorite area in the game. A lot of that is just because it's so long and boring. Yeah. Anyway, so okay, we're gonna save here with the site of the laboratory, filling us with determination. Although, I don't know, it's kind of a balance. It's like if you think of like the area as just like a dungeon and like a series of puzzles and monster encounters, it's my least favorite area to go through just because the monster encounters all take forever and the puzzles are all super long and boring. I just don't care for this area at all from a gameplay perspective. On the other hand, if you think of each dungeon as sort of a series of encounters with the area boss, which is basically sort of the way the game is structured. You got the tutorial section, the papyrus section, then Undyne, then Metaton. And so from that perspective, like the Metaton bits of the game, like the actual scenes we get apart from the gameplay, are actually some of my favorites in the game. Metaton is one of my favorite characters. In a strong field, mind you. I've gone on about how much I like all the characters in this game. So yeah, among pretty stiff competition, Metaton is actually one of my favorites here, and I'm actually just gonna blitz through this just because I'm pretty sure that, yeah, nothing different happens here. Although, to be honest, on my first Pacifist run through the game, I basically just started like blitzing through the text and not even reading it. So there very well might be some stuff that's different on a second playthrough that I just didn't notice last time I went through the game. But what an entrance this guy makes! This guy knows how to make an entrance. Oh yes, welcome, beauties. Oh yeah, I don't know what I love this guy. He's the greatest. Just like bust through the wall. Oh yes, it's like the Kool-Aid Man. It's like the Undertale version of the Kool-Aid Man. Only, you know, I don't know. He's a robot. He's like the robot Kool-Aid man. How is that not? How is that not amazing? Answer correctly, or you die. Okay, and actually, the fastest way through this this little encounter here is actually, well, first off, we'll spare him. I think that's the fastest way to get through the menus, at least. So, basically, there's actually no way to lose this encounter. Like, you know, we of course all know at this point the gimmick where Alphys is just giving you the correct answers, but you can't actually die here because, as we all know at this point, Alphys has the whole thing, has all of the Mettaton encounters are rigged so that you can't possibly die. Oh yeah, this is... oh wait, no, this isn't what I was thinking of. I will say Fluffy Buns. And of course you get your little clue there about how Alphys is actually helping you. But actually, yeah, since it's impossible to lose, the fastest way through this is... oh, excuse me. Is actually... to just die. Just, like, get all the questions wrong and get down to 1 HP, and then that'll also advance the plot, or advance the encounter. So it's... I actually had to look at Alphys there to make sure I would get the wrong answer. So yeah, at this point, he sort of advances his schedule a little bit. So, yeah, so we basically just... He skips past the next several questions so that we just go right to the end of the encounter. So that's sort of your little shortcut through this little encounter. Which is, yeah, pretty good. Honestly, I don't know. I was saying about how I like this area because of Mettaton, but on the other hand, on the character front, I also kind of dislike this area because of Alphys, who's probably my least favorite character in the game. Although even then, I actually do like her a little bit. Actually, it's just in this particular area that she's like really annoying, and that's actually kind of like Undyne. Or speaking of which, so yeah, my first time through the game, I figured it was the human. You get so many hints. She's like spying on us, talking, like wanting to, you know, involve herself in your adventure, and of course, you know, the security cameras spying on your every action kind of gives you the idea that she might have a crush on you. But actually, as we sort of got a hint from the Undyne date scene, it's actually, yep, it's actually Undyne, and I actually don't think it is obvious. Actually, I did not have any inkling that the two of them were like involved at all on my first playthrough of the game. That's a little bit creepy. Do people do that? Do people name? Oh shit! Of course, she's got the fan fiction. 101%. Anyways, and apparently I never knew this, but apparently she'll have a kind of a similar reaction if you answer King Asgore for that question as well. So apparently, yeah, apparently she swings both ways in that regard, which is great, I guess. You know, get that representation and all that. Although it's kind of weird that, as far as I know, that's the only sort of hint of sort of there being her having any feelings for Asgore is just if you answer Asgore for that question, she gets all embarrassed, and that's the only indication whatsoever that she has like any sort of feelings for him. Which I guess is kind of the same for Undyne. It's kind of... I talked a little bit in the last play session about how... or actually, I'm actually curious now. I forgot. So we got the phone here. I actually don't know what... what Undyne is going to have to say about this. Okay, so that was less interesting than I was hoping. But yeah, they obviously sort of have crushes, have sort of a mutual crush going on, mutual secret crushes, in fact, going on there, which is doesn't really come through in a standard playthrough of the game. You get like a little hint of it. In fact, when you kill Undyne on a normal playthrough, which is what I did on my first playthrough of the game. She says something right before she dies, like something to the effect of like, Alphys, I'm sorry I never told you," which didn't have any meaning to me at the time because I had no idea who Alphys even was, and I just completely forgot about the line. By the time we did get around to meeting Alphys, so I just completely forgot about it. But yeah, that's one sort of little hint that you get as far as the sort of relationship between these two characters. Although, really, like, the full extent of it doesn't really come out. Much like with many of the characters in this game, you don't really get to uncover, like, the full depth of a lot of these characters until you do the whole Pacifist playthrough. And actually, that probably applies to Alphys a lot more than any other character in the game. Oh, shit. I'm gonna die. Oh, I really don't want to have to redo that stuff. If I have to redo this, I'm just gonna restart the friggin' recording. Yeah, your lava is not helpful. I've never actually carried it. Never actually carried it this far before. Oh. Oh. Maybe if I just keep berating him, then he'll, Okay, looks like we've got no choice but to be nice to this little thing. I should probably just run away, just to make sure I don't die. I wonder if that's even the fastest way to do this. Okay, there we go. So we can spare him, and then... Actually, is there even a save point nearby? Because if there's a save point, I won't even waste any of my healing items. I guess we could just keep going through like this. Try to showboat it. Go through all the encounters, not taking any damage. In fact, I think there's a save point. Yeah, there's a save point right up here. We're fine. This game's not hard, guys. I've got this. But, anyways, I was talking about Alphys. So yeah, Alphys, yeah, I was talking about how she's, probably games, you learn the most new information about her, compared to the other characters, going through a Pacifist run. And it sort of didn't completely turn around my opinion of the character. She's still, like, really annoying throughout the game. But you know what, I took a bunch of unnecessary damage there. I'm just gonna go back and heal it up right away. But, yeah, Alphys, yeah, like a lot of revealed depth to her character when you go through and do the Pacifist run. It doesn't quite improve her to the point where I'd say that... Or in fact, yeah, I'd say I do like her a lot more now that I sort of know more about her. As a result of... How do you even get over there? Oh, I see. Is there even anything over there? I don't even remember. And of course we got the frying pan here, which is our sort of the item from one of the previous fallen humans that we get for this section. It's like Alphys, as a character, she's like really neat. She has like a lot more involvement with kind of the main plot of the game, it turns out, than pretty much any of the other characters, which makes her pretty interesting. On the other hand, that doesn't make her any less annoying to deal with. I forget how this worked. Was it... move through orange, stop on blue. Think of blue stop signs, that's right. It's been a while since my last play session of this, so it might take a little bit of getting used to shit. Hey, we actually got that. God damn it. Oh, whoops, I got it backwards there. Okay. Actually, if you go on a genocide run through the game, they're actually nice enough to shut off all the puzzles in this area for you. Was I done talking about Alphys? Yeah, just how it's neat that they add like a lot of depth to her on the Pacifist run, but it doesn't make her any less annoying when you're actually going through the area. Yeah, that was the basic summary of what I was trying to get at. So these puzzles, pretty easy from what I remember, yeah. Because, yeah, I remember wasting a lot of time on those little, like, spaceship puzzles my first time through the game, whereas this time I think I know the solution. I think I've got a handle on the way they work well enough to not waste a lot of time this time through. Yeah, that one's just brain dead easy. I've actually... This is one of those games that I think it's really fun to see Let's Plays of this, like people's blind first impressions of the game. And just because all the neat stuff that there is, all the jokes, all the little, you know, random enemy encounters, seeing who people will kill and who they'll let live, seeing what sort of stuff people will see and what stuff they'll miss. It's just really interesting because there's so much potential variance between the different ways that different people can play through this game. It's really interesting to see let's plays, like blind let's plays of this game. So I've actually been going through and yeah, just watching some blind plays of this game on YouTube, and I think what I found out from watching some of the people play this is that apparently some people aren't as good at solving puzzles and dodging bullets as I am. I might have in my little Undertale wrap up little video that I did. I remember I mentioned that I thought that this game was simple enough that just about anyone could play it. Even non-gamers could play this game and have a good experience of it. And actually, after watching some Let's Players struggle tremendously through some of the boss fights and even some of the puzzles in this game, which I thought were incredibly simple, yeah, I'm wondering if I might have been a bit too hasty in my judgment there, because honestly, kind of the two main gameplay aspects of this game are essentially puzzles and bullet dodging, which are kind of two sort of two aspects of video games, two video game genres that I'm actually really well acquainted with. I do a lot of puzzles. I do a lot of puzzle games, or I do puzzle. I play a lot of puzzle games, and I play a fair bit of shmups as well. So my perspective might have been a bit skewed in that regard. Maybe I definitely realize that now, having seen some Let's Players out there struggle tremendously through this game. And I'm actually, even though it's actually faster to just like not get hit by anything, I, however, am gonna deliberately try to die here, just because honestly this is one of the few things in the game I actually haven't seen yet. I have no idea what happens if you fail this section. I will be tremendously surprised if this actually results in a game over. You actually get slowed down a lot when you... It's like getting hit by one thing actually doesn't slow you down very much, but if you get hit by like two things consecutively, you just come to like a dead stop. Yeah, I actually have no idea what's going to happen if you fail this section here. Just based on like everything else in the game, I am positive that this will not result in a game over, but I'm just curious to see what's their excuse going to be this time. And 0. Oh well. Oh, what? Right about now. Oh, it's time for commercial break. Oh, how lucky. Okay. The Alphas seem to like a little bit confused there. I wonder if Mediton actually, if Mediton actually sort of threw Alphas a bone there. They kind of have a weird relationship between the two of them. It's like I almost feel like Mediton sort of threw her a save there, which, or at least that's the way I interpret it. That's the way I interpret it, and that's what I like to think. Oh yeah, speaking of interpretation, or you know what? No, I'll get to that later when we have our little dinner with Sans, because, or I guess I can get into a little bit of this now. I think it's oh yeah, there's the question I alluded to earlier. What happened? What exactly happened to the previous fallen humans? Like when did, like, we know they all died in the end. Oh, that's right. I've got to do this. How's my inventory? Inventory's full. Perfect. Okay, so Sans has got a hot dog stand here. Do we want to buy a hot dog? Unfortunately, we don't have the inventory space for it, but I'm just gonna buy it anyways. Oh, it's fine. We got hot dog storage space on our head. That's cool. So yeah, you can see there we got a little hot dog on our head, and yeah, if you walk around a little bit, it falls off. And I don't know. That's just one of those cute little touches. And of course, as with pretty much all the cute little touches in the game. And actually, yeah, you didn't even take your money. I didn't even realize. It took me a moment to catch that pun there. Not really a pun. And yeah, as with everything, as with all of these little jokes in this game, you can just keep doing this. There's no stop. There's no end to this madness. We can just keep stacking hot dogs all day. Actually, I think when does it end? I've never actually taken this. It's got to stop eventually. I mean, there's only so many numbers that a computer can handle, and by God, we're gonna go through all of them. Oh, okay, that was worth the wait for that. It's much. I'm having a good time with it too. 30. Okay, it even tells you you've done this 30 times, you weirdo. Good job. 29 was fine, but honestly, his arms don't even look like they can reach higher than like 7. Now the question is, can we? Okay, I was thinking I might be able to do like the pizza balancing mini game from Snoopy's Silly Sports Spectacular. Has anyone else played that game? That was way back when I was a little kid. That was one of my most common. Well, one of the games I would rent fairly frequently was Snoopy's Silly Sports Spectacular for the NES. And yeah. Anyways, there was a what did they call it? It was a pizza. It was the pizza. Basically, a race where you have. You're carrying a stack of pizzas and you're trying to get to the finish line without dropping too many pizzas. Damn it! That's actually a pretty difficult attack. It's like, I don't know, for this early in the game. What the hell am I saying? We're like more than halfway through. Oh, anyways, I was gonna get around to Napstablook is another fun character. Alright, okay, I gotta actually do something with this crap now. Alas. I think we're gonna have to say farewell to the dog residue. I have no idea what you can do with... Okay, let's use it now, see what happens. Okay, it did something. Oh dear. Oh, oh my god, we made a dog salad? How did that... Hit poodles. Okay. So since it recovers hit poodles, I'm guessing that doesn't do anything if you use it. You know what, we're low on health anyway, so I might want to just use it. Nah. Okay, what are we gonna get rid of? Gotta keep the bandage. Or do we have to keep the bandage? Gotta keep the ribbon. You know what, let's just eat the dog salad. See what happens. Okay, delicious. Some dog bones. Reminds me of that, what was it called? There's this little animated short I remember seeing on YouTube where a dog makes an omelet for its owner. It's the most adorable thing. Yeah, the joke there was that Alphys is stupid and annoying. This puzzle I was really shocked of. I was talking about how, yeah, I watched the YouTubers struggle through the puzzles. I was shocked at how much difficulty a lot of Let's Players had with this puzzle. It is... I don't know. Maybe I'm pretty sure I had, like, no trouble with that on my first playthrough. The solution seemed immediately obvious. It's like, okay, they toggle back and forth, so you gotta go back one in order to flip it correctly, and then there, that's the solution. It seems so obvious to me, but a lot of people had a lot of trouble with that puzzle. I was really surprised. Actually, I never actually thought of this. I was going on... yeah, I was mentioning sort of inclusiveness earlier, what with, you know, the Alphys and Undyne relationship, and apparently Undyne also having a crush on Asgore. And then also there's these guys, this gay couple here as well. I don't think there's a single... Or actually, it's not entirely true. There is one heterosexual relationship in the game, and that is, of course, not Undyne, Toriel and Asgore, who are divorced. So that's not even like really. That's like I don't know what the word is. An ex relationship. Did that? Okay, that was enough. I don't know if there's some social commentary going on there, or if it's just... It seems that they got, like, one of each. They got, like... Yeah, they got lesbian, gay, straight, and... I guess kind of bisexual with the... I keep blanking on her name. Asgore, not Asgore. Alphys. Whisper to him is the solution here. Oh, I never even noticed that guy's attacks are just going off to the side because he's like all flustered. That's cute. Anyways, I don't think I actually had a point that I was like getting at with any of that. I guess it's just an observation. I never actually thought of it until now. I kind of dislike how there's really no advancing a lot of the text in combat. Actually, the worst is at the very, very end of the game, when all of the monsters, when on the lead up to Asgore, tell you a little story about Asriel. Was that a spoiler? Do we know Asriel's name? Oops, I almost fucked that up. I'm pretty sure they tell you Asriel's name. Anyways, it's just a character's name. The king's son's name is Asriel. I'm pretty sure that's not a significant spoiler. Actually, I'll write the news thing. Am I just gonna let it play out? Anyways, because again, I'm positive that it'll just let you live if you let the timer run down. And actually, now that I think of it, I think it might actually be faster to just let the clock run down, because then you don't waste time on all the screen transitions between combat and all that. So it might actually be faster to just let the timer run down. I think that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, let's go get him. Actually, no. What I'm gonna do instead of going to get him is I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy my delicious pear cider. It's actually not that... Anyways, I don't need to blab about my pear cider. Let's just keep it... Enjoy the sleeping dog. While I enjoy my pear cider. Honestly, it kind of makes me... So yeah, this is basically just like a little mini-game fest throughout this area. You just move from one mini-game to the other, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Like, that's a common thing in RPGs, honestly. And this is a thing I think that RPG designers realized a long time ago, is that your basic RPG mechanics, like dungeon exploring and the turn-based combat and all that, is honestly pretty dull, and grinding for levels, it's just like the basic RPG mechanics are pretty tedious and often not very fun. So it's like, a long time ago, they started laying it on thick with the minigames in RPGs. It's like as early as I think Final Fantasy VII was the big one. That was freaking minigame central in Final Fantasy VII, and I think that's really because the designers of these games are clever enough to realize that you need that bit of variety to change things up, because these games get there's games that are often really long and get really repetitive after a while. So it's So yeah, it makes sense that I'm fine with this having a bunch of minigames in an RPG. I'd be a bit more fine with it if I was more fine with it on my first playthrough of this game, where I thought that any of these minigames meant anything. As it turns out, that nothing you do actually matters in any of these games. I feel like the timer's slowing down here. I feel like the X seconds left is ticking by slower than 1 second. Anyways. Oh no, now it's going to blow up and kill us. And how are they gonna get us out of this time? Or actually, that's right, we knew even on a standard playthrough, but it just doesn't work. Right. So, yeah. Anyways, what I was getting at is, I think it's kind of dumb that none of these minigames make any difference. You can fail them all, and it's just completely inconsequential. It's like, what is even the point? It's just kind of a waste of time at that point. Like, I was fine with them the first time I played through the game because, you know, minigames. That's a thing you do in RPGs. There's a good justification for their existence. Minigames that are just there to waste your time, where it doesn't make any difference one way or the other whether you pass them or not. It's like even if they don't want to give you a game over or anything for failing them, even if you just got like some kind of reward. In fact, I thought the Final Fantasy games did a great job with that, where often they would have like tiered rewards, where the better you do at the minigame, so the better your reward is. And that was kind of neat if they threw in something like that, although I don't know what they'd even reward you with, since there's not really anything in the way of like... It's like it wouldn't make sense to hide like equipment behind like a minigame like that, because, you know, all the equipment is kind of accounted for, what with the equipment being tied to all of the previous fallen humans, so you kind of wouldn't make any sense to have that tied to like a whoops, I did the wrong one. Tied to a mini game reward, but what was my point of all this? I think I was done. Oh, actually, I think this here was actually probably the toughest of the little spaceship puzzles in the game. Although oh no, not this one. I think it's the one on the other end of other end of the room. This one's actually not that tough. There. Yeah, it's pretty obvious what you need to do once you... Although I think it took me an embarrassingly long time to get through that the first time around, but once you kind of understand like the basic mechanics of the puzzle and you've played through a few of them and you learn all the sort of little tricks to manipulating the blocks, it's not that difficult. Like, I don't have any of these solutions memorized or anything. I'm just figuring them out relatively... Or I do have one of them memorized. This one up here is probably the most complicated... Probably the most complicated puzzle, and I do actually have the solution memorized just because it's kind of amusing. But to do that, we have to... Oops. We have to, get through this little encounter here, which is slightly less amusing. Let's just encourage him. You're doing a great job. Give me more lava. More lava. Oh wow, that's too much lava. And I think, yep, okay, so you can actually get a little fast. You can spare him faster, actually, by encouraging him. He will never know the truth. And actually, yeah, this is probably the toughest puzzle in the game, and the solution, yeah, left, right, boom, that's it. Toughest puzzle in the whole game. That's the one that I have the solution memorized. Okay. Oh, this is probably the part that I still have the most trouble with playing through the game at this point, is going through these little arrow mazes. But we got through that one without too much trouble. And I believe it's Muffet right here. We'll be able to speed through this boss fight without too much trouble. And again, this is... Yeah, there's... I've mentioned how all of the boss fights in the game have their own little different tricks to skipping through them a bit faster. This is probably the most efficient skip in the game, if you know it. It's also kind of the most counterintuitive, but... yeah, once you know what to do here, this saves you a lot of time going through the whole Muffet fight.